Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another Quran step, recorded on Saturday, 1st October 2016, 29th Dhul Hijjah 1437. Today we're going to cover a part of ayah number 29 in Surah Al-Baqarah, inshallah. I'll begin with the recitation. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا ثم استوى إلى السماء فسواهن سبع سماوات وهو بكل شيء عليم. هو الذي خلق. It is he who created. لكم, for you. What did he create? ما في الأرض جميعا, all of that which is on the earth. ثم استوى, then he directed himself. ثم استوى, then he directed himself إلى السماء, to the heaven. فسواهن, and he made them سبع سماوات, 7 heavens. وهو, and he, بكل شيء, of all things, alim, is knowing, and he is knowing of all things. So let's begin with the top here. هو الذي خلق. هو الذي خلق لكم. He is the one who created for you. What did he create for us? ما في الأرض جميعا, all of that which is on the earth, and that's what I've underlined, all of that. So let's look at some more questions regarding that. First question that pops up is, what is all of that? What does that refer to? Well, they explain that it literally means everything. Everything that's living, such as plants and animals, and everything that's inanimate, such as minerals and mountains, and everything that is created on the earth is for the benefit of mankind. So let's have a moment of reflection and think of it in terms of elements. So if we think about everything that's found, whether living or non-living, you can divide it into the periodic table, because everything that is on the earth is made up of one of these elements. Okay, so remember, this is the periodic table. You would have studied this in chemistry at school. And then it starts with hydrogen, and then you have helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, etc. Okay, so silicon, aluminium, lead, etc. So how many of these elements that are found on the earth do we actually need to survive? So if we look at, somebody's taken a periodic table and they've gone through the books of medicine and physiology, and they've just colored the number of elements that are actually found in the human body. Okay, so as you can see, the majority of elements are not actually found in the human body. So the human being actually doesn't need everything. He only needs these few elements inside the human body. But when the human being starts to use these elements, think about the elements in an integrated circuit in 2006, and every year that's gone on, these number of elements has gone up. So you can see that a simple circuit made by a human being actually uses more elements than the human being himself. Subhanallah. And here's a very beautiful table. It's a periodic table, but now it's not listed as elements, but in fact it's listed as uses for those elements. So if we kind of zoom in on one of these bits, let's have a look here. So if we look at here, helium, what do we use that for? There's an inflatable balloon. Okay, it's also used in lasers, welding, nuclear reactor coolants. Okay, it's also used in the atmosphere, deep diving. Things like fluorine, they're used for water additives, then toothpaste. Oxygen, we all know about, is used for combustion, but it's also used to produce steel. Something as polonium, it's used in nuclear batteries. Astatine, seldom found in nature. Radon, earthquake predictor. That's how we use it in seismographs. If we go to the other side, swing around to the other side, cesium we use in photoelectric cells. That's how the escalator or the thing detects a person's there. titanium is used for heat exchangers, aircrafts, bone pain, magnesium. So as you can see, the entire periodic table, human beings have found some sort of use for this. Now, why does an animal, the human being, if we think about it, who only needs these few elements, is capable of using all these elements? And that shows that the world is designed for a human being to be able to use it. And that is exactly what the ayah is saying, subhanallah, that it is Allah, هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا, because He's the one who created all the elements, and He's created us with the ability to exploit those elements. So that's a reflection point. Also, something simple to reflect about is if you look at the spheres of activity. So if people draw a sphere, that's where animals live. You will find animals that live in the sea. You'll find animals that live in a forest. You'll find the animals that live in the land. You'll find animals or birds or bacteria that just live in the atmosphere. But which thing lives and exploits all the spheres, from outer space, just the edge of the earth, with their spaceships and satellites, with their aeroplanes in the atmosphere, with their houses on land, and even down into the ground. Here's a picture of something called fracking, where they actually pump gas and chemicals in deep under the earth to take out more oil and gas. Who is this one creature that's using all the spheres of activity? And that's just a human being. Subhanallah. So this ayah is very, very interesting. It is He who created for you all that which is in the earth. The ulama use this ayah to explain that this question, is everything halal until proven to be haram? And the answer is basically, one group of ulama say yes. So let's read what this. وَقَدْ أخذ العلماء من هذه الآية. Indeed, the ulama take from this verse شاهدا, proof, evidence, على أن الأشياء التي فيها منافع مأذون, that those things which have a benefit which is permissible فيها حتى يقوم دليل على حرمتها, that they are مأذون, that they are permissible, and except when there is proof that something is haram. So this is one opinion based on this ayah, because Allah has created everything for you, so therefore everything is halal except unless there's a proof that it says haram. Just out of interest and to increase our knowledge, that this understanding is not universal amongst the scholars. There are some scholars who said no, this is not correct, and they went to another opinion, and Shaykh al-Jazairi points it out. He says ذهب بعضهم إلى أن الأصل في الأشياء الحظر حتى يأتي دليل الإباحة. Say that everything you have to be careful. You can't just say it's halal, and you have to wait until there's some proof to say it's halal. And why did they take that opinion? لأن المملوكات لا تحل إلا بإذن مالكها. Because something which is owned by somebody, you cannot use it unless you have permission from the person who owns it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns the whole world, so unless we have His permission, we do not use anything. فهذا مذهب ثان حسن ذكره. And he just said, it's worthwhile thinking about this before you suddenly say everything is halal. There is another opinion, and that's the basis for it. So, amazing. We've looked at all the things, the element, activity, spheres of activity. Now, this is a very beautiful point, is if, let's take the opinion that everything we use in the earth is halal, so the inputs, the things that we use for the things we have in our daily lives are halal, what should our output be? If the inputs are halal, our outputs, our actions, our usage of these things should also be halal. But if the inputs are halal and our outputs are haram, this is very bad. So let's end on this note today. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to make us reflect over the Quran and continue to increase us in our journey of knowledge. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.